All right, y'all. What is going on? I want to make this video to go over, not go over. I really want to show a visual of how you can go about prospecting. So yesterday, I had a friend of mine DM me on Twitter, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm raising money for this company, and I'm finding it impossible to prospect properly." And one thing I would like to say is that there's so many people that are in sales related roles, or they find themselves in a sales related role because they become an entrepreneur of some sort, and they do not have a strong understanding of prospecting, sales, or the sales cycle. All right. So what I want to do, I'm not going to teach y'all all about that all in one go today, but what I am going to do is I'm going to give you a visual of essentially the conversation we had and what my answers were to him. All right. So make sure y'all can see me. Y'all can see this screen on here. So he comes in and he said, "Hey, Steve, man, you know, I don't know if my offer is actually working or not, right? Um, I've emailed for about 3 weeks and I've sent about 300 DMs spread across 3 days. Now, the conclusion from that is that the sample size is too small and our prospecting process is not fully established. And we do not have enough consistent data yet, right? So when he said that, Steve, I feel like it's impossible for me to sell, for me to, not sell, but to prospect and get people to, uh, you know, look at my offer, stop flaking, and look at investing in this startup I have. Well, it's impossible. It feels that way because we don't have enough data yet. So that's step one. Let's go into step two. So step one is, like I said, is we're going to be looking at our current results. Step two is let's evaluate what he has going on first. All right. So he has a logic-based pitch. So his pitch deck is logic-based, but when he talks to people on the phone, it's emotion-based. So that's not congruent. Okay. People do not buy based on logic. They buy, or in his case, invest in his company. Uh, they invest based on emotion. So both the deck and spoken pitch should be driven primarily by emotion. All right. I'm not saying you're gonna get your prospect to cry. All right. I'm not saying they need to get angry, anything like that. But your pitch deck, in his example, needs to elicit some form of emotion. All right. If we just appeal to logic, they're going to flake on you. All right. Which is what he's currently getting. Right. So number three, he asked me, he says, "Yo, should I just 10x my effort?" Well, that's not necessarily what needs to be done. All right. If it was based on effort, if success was based on effort, everybody that digs ditches would be super, super rich and super successful. That's not the case. We have to have strategy behind our effort, right? Because sometimes it doesn't take 10x. Sometimes we can do the same amount of effort strategically to get the results that we want. Okay. So one thing I did was for him, I told him, "Hey, look, we need to increase your runway." Right. So sending out emails in his example, he was sending out emails for 3 weeks. That's not enough time. So we need to increase the runway of takeoff, right? The next thing he did, he only had 300 DMs sent across 3 days. That's nothing. Some of the people that he hit up on day one might not respond for another week or another 10 days, right? So were those first 300 DMs unfruitful or not? We don't know yet. Let's extend the runway, all right? Next, we need to commit to one consistent outreach system. Now, for those of y'all who are in sales, we see this with CRMs. We see this with cold calls. We see this with so many different aspects of prospecting. Many people cannot do the boring part, which is showing up every day and doing the same thing over and over again. All right. If you can send emails out every day, if you can get on Twitter every day, if you can do, DMs, whatever that on whatever channel that is, if you can do it every day, more than likely, you're going to start getting some type of result. Okay. So to get a little bit more technical with y'all, like we need to have proper KPIs and proper analytics, and we get that through one, increasing the runway, but also committing to consistent outreach, right? So it's the same script. It's the same, emails going out, same amount of emails going out, the same amount of DMs going out on Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever those things are, right? But being consistent in the outreach system and committing to doing it daily, because then we can track real results, our results aren't tainted because, hey, I sent out 500 emails with this script, but then I changed it to this, and then on my DMs, my DM script is completely different from my email script. We have, those are too many variables, right? So if we have consistent outreach with the same variables attached, we have stronger analytics, and our KPIs can be more truthful towards how we're really doing in our prospecting. Okay. Now, this goes back to increasing runway, and this also goes back to commit to once a consistent outreach system. Let's repeat it for 30 days. Do this every single day for 30 days. Okay. What I talked about earlier, we don't have to 10x effort. Consistency is more important than intensity, right? Sustain daily effort without skipping. What's easy to do is easy not to do. This trips up so many people, right? Again, this is for people who are, for those of y'all who are in sales, y'all know this already. But if you're not in a sales role, I want you to keep it simple, stupid. Stop trying to be creative. I want you to do exactly what I'm telling you to do. Repeat a consistent system for 30 days straight. That means Saturday and Sunday too. Okay. Remember something, y'all. People pick these things up all day, every day, no matter what. They're going to pick up 100, 150 times a day on Sundays, on Saturdays, on week, on a holiday, whatever those things are. So if they're going to access your outreach system, so if they're going to access email, Twitter, DMs of some sort, more than likely, they're going to look at it daily. They're going to be picking their phone up daily. All right. So you can't take days off because nobody takes time off from picking their phone up every day. Nobody takes time off that's serious. That takes time. They don't take 2-3 days off of email. They're looking at the emails all day, every day. Right. All right. So now, in his example, he was not only DMing people, he was also engaging with their content, but all he was doing was he was just liking their posts. That's not enough, right? If you're in a situation where you're trying to raise, $100,000, $200,000 an investor in a situation like raising capital for a startup, in his example, liking a post is not enough. All right, y'all are asking for a lot of money. You're asking for somebody to invest in your business. You're asking for somebody to, buy a high ticket offer from you. You need to engage with the content, leave thoughtful comments, reply and start conversations. All right. I told you, you got to treat this like you're going after a girl. You got to laugh at their jokes, build familiarity, and DM. Okay. It's not one or the other. You have to do all those things and DM. All right. Become someone they recognize. All right. The person that you're pitching to is getting pitched to day in and day out. So when you're in their DM, you are just another profile. Oh, well, I got my account verified so I can stick out. No, it don't matter. It don't work like that. All right. Engage with the content, leave thoughtful comments, reply and start conversations, laugh at their jokes, build familiarity, become someone they recognize. And so when you reach out, they're like, oh, hey, that's John. Hey, that's James. Hey, that's Jessica. I know who that is. What do they want? All right. People buy from who they know, like, and trust. If they don't know you, like you, or trust you, they can't buy from you. All right. I know we say that, in this example, like I said, he's prospecting for someone who could, a VC who could invest in his company, but it's still a purchase at the end of the day. Money's getting exchanged. There's a transaction there. There's a purchase, right? So we have to use these sales systems in that, right? Now, all this is going to generate meaningful data. This will give you proper analytics, like what I talked about earlier. Following these 8 steps prior to is going to give you proper analytics so that you can make the proper judgment. Am I making the right effort? Am I doing the right things? Should I add something? Should I cut something? All right. So is this a long game? Well, yes and no. The proper horizon is checking every 30 days. Okay. Every 60 days, every quarter. That's how long it is. But you have to be consistent. If you're not willing to commit to doing this every single day, don't even do it because your analytics is going to be off and all the other variables will be off, and you will not know if you're succeeding or failing at this. Okay. Expand your time horizons. We can properly gauge where effort needs to be placed when we expand our time horizons. If you do 3 days worth of 100 DMs a day, that's not a proper time horizon. We can't make a proper decision based on a 3 days worth of effort. We can make better decisions off of 30 days of effort. We can make great decisions off of 90 days of effort, of consistent effort, right? Now, when we do this, when we expand our time horizon, or like I talked about earlier, extending our runway, We can accurately measure what's working, what's not, which channels perform best, which messaging resonates, and where should more effort be invested. Okay. And then from there, we optimize and scale, optimize based on data, and we scale what works. The end. We start getting our goals from there. All right. I want to keep it simple, y'all. I'm not trying to talk your head off on this video. I just wanted to kind of make this explainer for y'all. Let me pull it out. So y'all, if y'all want to screenshot that, y'all can screenshot that. Just a quick graphic I made. Nothing too technical, like I said, but like again, a lot of you all do not have a sales background that are trying to raise money, and raising money is selling to investors, right? Or you're selling to a customer, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Raising money is essentially just exclusively selling to investors, selling investors on the idea that your business is going to be profitable sometime in the future based on the idea that the problem that you're solving, right? So something to think about. I hope y'all got something from this. If you got any questions about any of this stuff, guys, hit me up. My name is Steven Story. I've been selling for like over 20 years now. I might look young, but I'm not. And I have sold everything from CDs to helping people get out, getting people out of jail, and I've sold all kind of insurance, and I've also sold a lot of courses online, all those kind of things. So thousands and thousands of people. So these are just some basic concepts for anybody who is in these sales adjacent type of roles in their life, and they're like, hey, what do I do? All right, this is what you do right here. All right. Any questions, y'all hit me up. I'd love to talk to you.